welcome back. I'm here with episode number 44 of the Revelation of Error with Usama Dakdok. And I'm sure this one's going to be interesting. It's the first one of the year. And Usama told me a joke earlier, and I told him I would tell a joke. But first, Usama, before I do that, how about you say hello to the audience? And hello, everyone. Once again, for those who are here for the first time this year, Happy New Year. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas and wish you all a wonderful, the best 2026 ever.
Amen. Absolutely. Happy New Year and Happy New Year, because guess what? We're a little bit late to wish you a Happy New Year. So we give you a double wishing. Good to be always all of you guys. And I greet you in the name of the Lord and our Savior, Jesus Christ. It is a new year because we call it the year of our Lord 2026. That fit perfectly with the coming of Christ. Actually, it's to do it real right, it's 2026 to 2030. Why? Because Jesus was born roughly 3-4 years before that zero marker. But he is the one who broke the timeline of life, BC and AD. Amen. Happy New Year. Good to see you, Brother Lloyd.
We use the Christian calendar, but they renamed it to BCE and CE. So they're using the Christian calendar, but they don't want to give credit to the Christians for the calendar. I think that's so. I just call it before Christ era, and then the Christian era. So CE before the Christian era and the Christian era. I think that's fair.
Amen. Amen. It's just weird. It's just weird. You cannot deny the coming of Christ in this world, because how you deny time? I mean, I'm not even talking about who is Christ, what he did, just him being in this earth. And the days we live is a great evidence that he truly did came in the flesh. Amen.
Right. So I have to tell my joke. Some of you will have heard this before. So there's a professor, he's at university, and he's doing a talk on the supernatural. And he says to the class, so who of you has heard of ghosts? Like everyone puts up their hand, and he says, who of you has seen a ghost? And like a few people sort of put up their hands. And then he says, like, has anyone talked to a ghost? And like even fewer people, like one or two, like kind of raise their hand. And eventually says, okay, has anyone here slept with a ghost? And there's one Pakistani guy in the back in the corner. He raises his hand. And the professor calls him over and he says, you slept with a ghost? And the Pakistani says, oh, sorry, I thought you said goat.
You're terrible. You're terrible. Well, in Islam, is nothing wrong to do that. As a matter of fact, there is a beige in the Reliance of the Traveler. And I was just looking through it, and I found that beige. It had something written in Arabic, but there's no English. And then I discovered a little bit later that many passages in the Reliance of the Traveler is in Arabic, but no English. And then I a little bit deeper, found that many of the English does not actually match the Arabic. So these wicked, evil, savage, deceiver, liars did not translate it right. So anyway, so in my curiosity, I picked up that one which is written in Arabic and there's no English, and I started reading it. And I discovered that it says there, I still have it. We can open the Reliance of the Traveler and I'll find it and we'll share it with you. It says that if a man had sex, and then he give you the list of the names of the saints which he had sex with, including his own sister whom he owned her or owned half of her, or with a woman, or with a prostitute in the natural way and in the unnatural way, like sodomy, because if you are doing any of that, and then he said, oh no. So wait a minute. What is the punishment? He said, yu'azzar. Well, I misunderstood that word actually. Honestly, God, I did not lie. There is a letter zal, or there's a letter zain in the Arabic language, and I didn't notice. The word yu'azzar is to be given excuse. But yu'azzar, it's a different way of saying the word. is to be punished. So I look, what is a punishment? You can just tell them, don't do it again. One of it is having sex with animals. So this man who have a Pakistani Muslim have sex with a goat, it is Islamic. Nothing wrong about a man. As a matter of fact, if you do had sex with a goat, you don't have to do wudu. You're clean. You don't have to just go ahead, start praying because you have been praying before. It is so immoral. It is so unclean. It is so evil to learn about Islam and sex. What mean do you need to do a show, Brother Lloyd, in the future about sex in Islam? Sex in Islam. Write it down, please. Sex in Islam. Can you write it down? You're laughing.
Yes,
And
you're
then
saying
I
we've
have
got
to-
to do this?
Well, listen. If a year from now I tell you, I remember I asked you to help me to remind me of a show about something with Islam, and you could not go back to your notes to remember exactly what I asked you to write, I'm going to be very disappointed with you, Lloyd. Put it down, man. Put it down. Reminder.
I'm not sure that is going to be a good time.
You're killing me, Small. You know that? You're killing me. That's okay. Who cares? That's just
Please
like
save us from this.
it's evil. But Muslims need to know
Yeah,
that
the
is
thing-
in the Sharia. I mean, realize that the traveler was not written by some Christian. These are Muslims approved by the other university, man.
Say again?
I said am I cutting?
Yeah, you cut, you're freezing, and then you come back.
All right, I apologize. I hope I get a better internet for tomorrow's show. I am in a church in Mississippi, so I'm using the internet. And anyway, so what I'm saying is we did not write down the Rare Lives of the Traveler. It is Muslim books. It's translated by them, and it was approved by the other university. So if Muslim have a problem with it, then I'm sorry, I can't help you. Okay? Go complain to the
Muslims
Azhar.
don't buy anything. I mean, if you look here, it says it's got all of these things, and it says it's got the documents, okay, the warrants, and there's the certification about Azhar. And if you want to know anything about Islam, like marriage, right, you'll find it here. There's like 50 pages on information on marriage, on divorce. There's like 22 pages, and so on and so on. So if you want to know about whatever it is in Islam, inheritance, there's 46 pages. You know, fasting, there's 20 pages of information. Zakat, 33 pages. So there's much more than in the Quran. The Quran might have one paragraph, a few sentences maybe, and then here you've got dozens of pages.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the prayer, the funeral prayer, 44 pages. Prayer alone, 219 pages. You know, just on prayer.
And what's amazing, when you read all this material, Brother Lloyd, you will discover, as you just said, most of it is man-made, goes against the Quran or the Hadith. I mean, literally, Sharia supersedes the word of Allah and supersedes the words of Muhammad.
Yeah. We've got educational project management. It says, narrated Ibn Abbas, that the Messenger of Allah said, whoever you see having relations with an animal, then kill him and kill the animal. Jamia Tirmidhi, 1455. So stop lying. Yeah. The thing is that whenever we show these hadiths to them and that's one that they don't like, then that suddenly becomes a da'if hadith. But when they show it, then of course it's sahih, you know?
Yeah. But Lord, here's a fact. If he believed in that hadith and I gave him the other hadith, which is the opposite, we do not know what to do. And then when we go to the Quran, I quote a verse from the Quran and Muslim quotes the opposite verse from the same book, the Quran. And it is life. What can you do about your cult, man? What can you do? I mean, am I going to go correct Muhammad? Abrogation is not only in the Quran, it's in the saying Muhammad, because these sayings and these doctrine and these ideology come and goes as Muhammad feel like. Okay, so I can't help.
Yeah, I mean, actually, let me bring up something here. Like, for instance, Muslims always claim, no, we don't kill anyone. Islam is peace. You go to the law and it says apostasy from Islam, called ridda, and whoever voluntarily leaves Islam is killed. And then they'll tell us, you know, no, it doesn't mean that. It says some. And, you know, he says, show us hadith opposing, I will show the issue. Yeah, the problem is that you always have an opposite hadith, and there's so many opposite verses, and you are not qualified at all to explain any of these
Okay.
things.
A good
Because have
example.
you
A good
have you
example.
spoken to a
Yeah.
scholar? Have you
Yeah.
consulted a
Right
scholar?
now.
You know, I think you
Yeah.
should.
Right. Before you change the page, right now, I can learn from Sharia that you leave Islam, you're dead.
Oh,
Okay?
hold
And
on,
I
wait.
also learn.
Just wait a second. He says apostasy is law by God in Torah. No Jew has murdered someone for leaving Judaism in thousands of years. No Christian does that. This is murder of this type is only committed by Muslims. Only by Muslims. No one else does this. So
Yeah.
Jews have a completely different way of understanding, and Muslims have no understanding of how the Quran is interpreted most of the time, because they will even just lie, because they'll say, sorry, it doesn't say that. When here we can see, in apostasy you're killed, but no Jew and no Christian does it, because Muslims do not understand the Bible.
As a matter of fact, Muslims are killing Muslims for much less than that, much
Yep.
less than apostasy. The honor
Go on.
killing is a big problem. Yeah. So he was saying that you must kill a Muslim if you leave Islam. And Muhammad said in the hadith, "Man baddala dino faqtuluh." So whoever changes religion, so kill him. And that's the reality of Islam. But I can also show you a verse, abrogated verse in the Quran, which teach no compulsion in religion. So which way you want to go? Am I frozen again, Lloyd?
Some of you back, yeah. So you cut out there for a second. Yeah.
I did. So my internet is really bad, huh?
You know, now this guy's lying. It's in Deuteronomy. The Bible says plenty of things. However, how Muslims interpret the Bible, which is completely false, and how everyone else interprets the Bible is completely different. So your interpretation, unfortunately, we don't accept that. No Christian, no Jew goes around murdering people for leaving the religion. The only people that murder people for leaving the religion is the religion of peace, or shall we call it the religion of murder and jihad and blowing kids up with bombs strapped to them.
And we can prove this in action, Brother Lloyd. You can go right now to Israel and you see Jewish people who are atheist, Jewish people who are agnostic, Jewish people who are a Christian, we call them Messianic Jew, Jewish people who does not believe in anything, and they're living free. Can we do the same thing in Saudi Arabia?
No, of course not. They will kill you. So look, I mean, this guy's just spamming. He's just spamming. He's just saying, oh, I gave you the verse. You don't follow your book. No, you fail to understand that the Jewish and Christian God is the God of mercy. The Islamic God is the God of violence. So it's really that simple. We don't misinterpret our book. You do. It's really that simple. No Jew has been murdering other Jews for leaving Judaism for thousands of years. And it's really that simple. Muslims are violent and bloodthirsty. Islam needs to be destroyed. It needs to be removed from the West. It needs to be contained in its own dysfunctional countries. And eventually, it just needs to die out.
Yeah. Should I get another source of internet, Brother Lloyd, or should
let's see how it
continue?
goes now. Because I'm also having problems. I've had problems now for a month or two with my streaming platform. And it cut out, it reconnected. So let's see if now it fixed itself. It could be that.
I hope and I pray.
No.
But if not, I have another source, AT&T. I can get a better internet, maybe.
Okay. No, let's just see how it goes. So today we're talking about Moses, right?
Yep. Allah's Moses, the Moses of Islam.
Yeah. So look, there's no reason to continue dealing with someone who is simply going to just push his own agenda and not actually listen, because he's not here to engage in good faith. He's simply here to push propaganda. And there's no good faith conversation here. They're simply going to make assertions and claims. And the thing is, the next Muslim you come along will say, no, 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 we don't kill people for leaving Islam. And the other one will say, yes, we do. And we're proud of that. So you just don't get any consistency.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So, And I mean, these people are so arrogant, you know. Yeah, and it teaches to kill without remorse. That's also true, cargo crew. Yeah. So I mean, these people are just. I mean, look, Islam teaches to lie, and Muslims will lie to you. It's as simple as that. We know this, we see this, and I think we all realize it's the religion of a pedophile. In fact, I mean, it's Jeffrey Epstein and Muhammad have a lot in common, except for the fact that Jeffrey Epstein's victims were actually older than Muhammad's victim.
Yep. Jeffrey Epstein was a man who have some logic and common sense not to do that with the little children. Maybe a little bit grown up, but not little children.
Yep. Jeffrey Epstein's youngest victim was like 14, maybe 13, but we know 14, whereas Aisha was 9. So, yeah. So anyway, we're talking about Moses today, right?
Yeah. And the magic cow, man. Have you heard of the magic cow?
No.
Well, we were going to learn it right now. Let's move on to it.
So in the Quran, we have Muhammad's story of the golden calf. And this story is recorded and repeated, but words change, which is a proof that the words of the Quran were invented and are counterfeit stories adapted from the Bible. Now, there's a surprise. That's the first time I've seen that in this book of yours, Usama.
Wait, were you asleep? Were you in a coma? The last 40-some broadcast?
I'm trying to forget. I'm trying every time after the session, I'm trying to forget. In fact, I go to the bar and I tell the barman I need to drink to forget, and he says, "Okay, but please pay in advance." So I don't forget.
You can drink too much, you're not gonna pay before you leave. Oh yeah.
So Ibn Kathir presented this story and its interpretation in his book, and the story is repeated in 2 sections. Don't tell me the 2 sections are different.
Absolutely.
Let's see what's in the Quran. 7:148. And Moses' people took after him from their ornaments a calf, a body which gave a mooing sound. Are you saying that cows make a mooing sound?
Sound like oh. That's exactly.
I think I can do this better.
I mean, imagine, God's my witness. If I am there and I know that that cow is made out of gold and makes that sound, I will worship it. I mean, that would be a miracle, man. That's what we call it, the magic. It's not an easy thing,
Yep. So Allah told us that a cow goes moo. I thought they went meow or they bark like a dog.
No.
Praise be to Allah.
Mashallah. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing this. This is great. Now I know what cows do.
But that is a gold one, man. That's what's a miracle. Okay.
Did they not see that it could not speak to them, nor guide them away?
Wait a minute. What do you mean? Did you not see that it did not speak to them? What cow speaks? The cow speaks mooing, and that cow was mooing. So what do you want you want the cow to say hello, salam alaikum, hello, how are you guys doing? Of course the cow only moo, and the cow was mooing, which means it was speaking cow, for heaven's sake. Anyway, move on, bro.
Maybe they couldn't speak cow. Maybe the cow was saying things like,
listen,
maybe the cow was saying things like, do you know that if you mix the milk with sugar in the right quantity, it tastes a lot sweeter, and you can get the sugar from the Egyptians in the plantations in the south. Maybe that's what the cow was saying, but all they heard was moo, because they couldn't speak cow.
Brother, let's get serious for a minute here. If Solomon was there, he would have talked to that cow and told the children of Israel what the cow said.
They should have asked the ants.
Oh, how about the hoopoe?
They probably didn't see the ants. They stepped on them, and Scrunchy says, this is useless information. This is from Allah, Scrunchy. Just this is from Allah.
Wait a minute.
Sorry?
Is Allah a useless God now? Mashallah. We're getting close. I
don't understand how he can get the word from Allah and not feel that if he doesn't feel inspired. I mean, In fact, Islam inspired education. When I went to my first year of school, when I learned that cows go moo and chickens go cluck, this actually came out of the Quran. Quran inspired schools. Schools come from Islam. It's obvious.
The word of Allah is eternal. It was written 50,000 years before creation. It must be true.
Right. So
Yeah.
they took it and they were unjust. And when it fell in their hands and they saw that they had gone astray, they said, if our Lord will not have mercy on us and forgive us, we will surely be of the losers.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
What fell in their hands?
The cow.
Is this a hand-sized cow, a handy cow, a hand?
Listen, ask Allah, He will tell you, or Ibn Kathir. Let's go on. Keep going.
Moses' anger in the following verses over Aaron in the absence of the Samaritan proves that Aaron was behind the creation of the golden calf, and that boards, the tablets, were never broken. This is a contradiction to the biblical account in Exodus 32. So it was, as soon as he came near the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing. So Moses' anger became hot, and he cast the tablets out of his hands and broke them at the foot of the mountain. In Quran 7, verse 150, when Moses returned to his people, wrathful, sorrowful, he said, evil is what you have done following my departure. Would you hasten the command of your Lord? And he threw down the boards and seized his brother by the head and dragged him to himself. He said, wouldn't he have pulled him? Do you have to drag someone to you from the... You pull them, but okay. It's either the translator, and I know who the guy who wrote this book was.
No. Hey, I can go right now on Google or AI, and I'll copy the Arabic, and I'll give you perfect English to that. Word for word. I promise you.
I think Allah needs to go to school.
Well, he speaks a little bit funny because he does not speak Arabic. So if you don't know Arabic and using some other words from different language, you come up with that Quran. I mean,
Right.
Allah is ignorant of the Arabic language. But besides that, we got the story, man. It's almost there. I can read it.
Okay, so you're an upgrade over Allah. And Kalam Ellis is showing love and support. Keep up the good work, guys. Thank you very much, Kalam. We see you tomorrow. Don't forget, 7 p.m. my time. I think it's 6 p.m. yours. We have a stream. I'll set it up after this. And Usama will join us. We'll finish what we were talking about last week, which was the Ethiopian connection to Islam. And we'll have Odon and we'll have another discussion. I think will be fascinating to look at these origin stories that have been overlooked by academia.
Wait a minute. The Quran, listen, sir. The Quran is pure holy word of Allah in the perfect Arabic language. What are you talking about? Hello?
But all the... Okay, so let me help you. All of the major religious words in Islam come from languages that are not Arabic. There's about 275...
You know what? You're racist. I can see in your face you're racist. And you're Islamophobe too. I can see it. Islamophobe.
I'm probably a transphobe too. There's just, So yeah. As one black guy from Africa telling another black guy, you're a racist, blah 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 blah.
That's what I've been told all the time, man. Every time I open the Quran, I read a verse, the Muslims say, you're a racist. I read what Muhammad said, you're a racist. I said, you're stupid. I was not born in America. I'm not a white guy. I know nothing about them white folks. Why you call me racist? Anyway, but keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah. For the audience, there's about 300 foreign words there's about 2,000, there's over 2,000 foreign words in the Quran that are not Arabic. Right. By the time the Quran was written, Arabic hadn't been finally, shall we say, formalized, and the Arabic language had only really been sort of created within the 3rd or 4th century. Right. So there's no way that Adam or Moses spoke Arabic. That's absolutely no chance. And there's about 300 words that are critical to all of the religious concepts about Allah and revelation and everything within Islam. And these are all foreign words from Hebrew, from Greek, from Aramaic, from Ethiopic. And if you take those foreign words out, literally the Quran cannot describe Allah, salvation. It cannot describe everything that is crucially religious to Islam. All of that just literally disappears.
Which means you lose Islam. Then
Yep.
Islam is just a blah, 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 blah. Nothing there.
And, wind, sand, beat, kill, the, and, sand, beat, kill. Yeah, so that's pretty much what you're left with. So, in fact, just like we see here, son of my mother, surely the people weakened me and had almost killed me. You see, they're very, very important.
Oh, watch right here. Who's speaking here? That's not the Samaritan. That's Aaron. That's Aaron, Moses' brother. Why Moses palmed from his head or from his hair? Why he giving excuses of something he have not done? If he is not, as we're going to read in the other story of the Quran, in chapter 20, that it was the Samaritan who made the calf, the golden calf. So why we read that here in that passage? Lloyd, we have a problem.
You see, you weren't an eyewitness. Allah was. Allah was there.
Oh, Allah was there. Yeah, man. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
also notice, boards are made of wood, tablets are made of stone. Am I missing something? You know, Scrunchy, you are starting to confuse us with the facts. Now, please stop confusing people with the facts.
Yep. Do you know that did we talk about that? What was written on these boards in the entire Torah? The entire
Yes, we did.
5 books.
We did. It was very funny. I remember that episode.
And just think about it, how tall Moses was to carry this piece of wood. And even if you write them with a small handwriting, you know, it would be a huge piece of wood. I mean, he needed a truck to carry the Torah, you know. But anyway.
Maybe he was actually like making highway signs, you know, putting them up on the road to Damascus or whatever. And like you just go past the sign, like a few words per sign. And as you go, you're like reading as you're walking, you know, all the way to Jerusalem.
Mashallah, mashallah.
Mashallah, mashallah. I agree. Let's do that.
Yeah. Good.
So you said,
therefore,
do not make the enemy rejoice at me, and do not place me with the unjust people. And he said, my Lord, forgive me and my brother, and admit us into your mercy.
Whoa. Why Moses is asking Allah to forgive him and his brother for something he did not do, nor his brother? The Samaritan, listen, the Samaritan made the golden calf. It have nothing to do with Moses. It have nothing to do with Aaron. You know, why Moses is asking Allah to forgive him and his brother?
I can see why Muslims don't think about this and just keep moving on. Because once you think about it, it hurts. And my brain is starting to hurt. So I'm just trying to read, just get past this and move on to the next thing. Because it hurts to think about it.
Listen, I thought we have a logic talk here, logic conversation, but that's okay. No problem.
So, what do you think of the Quran having the names wrong? Like Ilyas instead of Ilayah, is Ilyas Yeshua instead of, you know, something we'll discuss tomorrow, and we're going to be doing more shows with JC, is that it would strongly seem that the Quran is really about Jesus, that Muhammad is actually a title for Jesus, and because the Quran has the two main references. If you look at all of the references, when you go to Muhammad, if you look at the preceding and proceeding verses, they tend to either talk about Moses or Jesus.
Yeah. But not the biblical Jesus, but the Jesus, the messenger, the prophet, the good man, not the triune Jesus, Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Yeah, they've made changes, but it does seem to have an underlying Syriac Aramaic, Syriac church sort of underlying teaching about Jesus. It's somehow, yeah, we're working on that on the channel. I mean, check out JC. We've been working on that. We've had a few shows. We will have more. We're having one tomorrow to talk more about this. But it does seem that the Quran is really, and the names have either been altered or they've been misunderstood. I mean, that much I think is clear. There's either misunderstanding or there's alteration.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Time traveling. So let's continue. Let us see. And you're the most merciful of the merciful, and surely those who took the calf will receive wrath from their Lord and humiliation in the world's life. And likewise, we reward the forgers. And those who did the evils then repented after it and believed. Surely your Lord, after that, is forgiving and merciful. And when the wrath of Moses was calmed, he took up the boards, the non-broken boards, and in their writing was guidance and mercy for those who are terrified of their Lord. Terrified. And when Moses chose his people, 70 men for an appointed time. So when the quake sees them, what quake? There's no context here.
Are you trying to tell me that Allah made a mistake there?
Just that came out of nowhere. It was like the quake sees them. Like, what quake? When? What did it do?
The
My Lord-
70.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. The 70, the quake seized them. Keep going, man.
My Lord, if you will, you had destroyed them before and me. Will you destroy us because of what fools did among us? It is only your sedition. You will mislead by it whom you will and guide whom you will. You are
Can
our
you imagine?
friends.
That is actually, Brother Lloyd, that is actually the teaching of Muhammad. Allah leads astray whom he will and he guides whom he will. And Muhammad is putting that on Moses just to make it like, it's not just me. Moses said the same thing. Isa said the same thing. Adam said the same thing. Noah said the same thing. Yeah.
You know what's crazy, right? John Calvin was never an ordained theologian. John Calvin got his degree as a lawyer. I mean, it's crazy. A lawyer. So you are our friend, so forgive us and have mercy on us, and you are the best of the forgivers. And prescribe for us in this world good and in the here.
Brother. You cannot live this. The best of the forgivers? You mean there's anybody else can forgive? When you see the best of, that means there are others who are doing the same thing, but they're not as good as that one, okay? I'm the best looking guy, okay? Listen, look at me, Lloyd, look at me. You know why you're looking at me? Look at me, man. I'm the best looking guy. That means that other guys look okay, but not as good as I. When Moses said, you are the best of the forgivers, who else can forgive? Give me a name, Muslim friends. Give me a name of somebody else beside the Lord of Moses who forgive. You cannot read the Quran, Lord, like reading a newspaper. That's the problem with our dear Muslim friends. They're reading the Quran like just a book. They're not thinking. Allah is the best of the creators. Allah is the best of the forgivers. Allah is the best of this. Allah is the best of that. And these are the saying belong to Allah alone. If Allah is God. Can you give me, my dear, where is the Muslim guy? Was with us a minute ago here. Who else can forgive beside the Lord? If the Lord is the best of the forgiver, huh?
These people have excuses for everything. It's not about finding the truth. It's just about being right. Brother, it's about not being wrong. They have a position to defend regardless of what the facts are. They will twist the words and the definitions.
But my question, if you go to all other translation, do you think somebody else translated different than that? The best of the forgivers? I guarantee you, all of them put it the best of the forgivers because you don't think about what they're putting down. You don't see anything wrong with it. The best of the creators. You cannot tell me Allah is the best of the creators. His name is the creator.
Right.
Anyway,
yeah.
156.
You know, this language just frustrates me. And prescribe for us in this world good and in the hereafter. Surely our guidance is towards you. And he said, I will afflict my torment on whom I will, and my mercy embraces all things. So I'll prescribe it to those who fear and bring the legal alms and those who believe in our signs. Is this Allah?
Yeah. Muhammad put this because he wanted the Muslim people to give him money. So he put it on Moses. And if it was good for Moses, it must be good for Muhammad. Legal alms. God help us. Move on, bro.
Yep. You know, we're getting a lot of trolls. You know, like Salaf Supreme here is asking, can you not forgive someone who wronged you? You forgiving is quite okay, but you see, if you touch the Kaaba can forgive you. So that means the Kaaba is effectively God. Only Allah can forgive, but if you touch the Kaaba will forgive. So therefore, that makes the Kaaba God too. So this is very, very odd sort of theology. So we're not talking about some human forgiving another. We're talking about having your sins removed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course, he's saying, you know, these people are just such sophists. Of course, Muhammad was stealing and plundering and murdering and robbing to get money and taking 20%. And yeah, sure, he gave 100% of his money to charity. You know, these people are really just They need to realize we've all actually read this material. So the following story is about the Samaritan and Moses' people, even though the Samaritans did not exist as a people until hundreds of years later. So Allah's bad at history too. So the story contradicts the Bible, which clearly teaches that it was Aaron, not the Samaritan, who fashioned the golden calf. So Muhammad confused Hosea 8:5-6 with the calf of the Exodus rebellion. So Allah is terrible at history as well.
Actually, Allah have nothing to do with anything. It's just Muhammad and those who helped him. Unless Allah is Satan. You know what's so amazing, Lloyd? For years, I thought Satan had something to do with the Quran. But then I realized that Satan is so smart, he will not put the stupid mistakes of the Quran. I mean, do you think Satan does not know that there was no Samaritan in Moses' days? Do you think Satan does not know that that golden calf was made by Aaron, not the Samaritan? How can Satan know that and he put it in the Quran and then contradict himself in the Quran between 7 and 20? It does not work that way. So it's not Allah. If Allah is Satan, it just had to be Muhammad and those who just give him a hint. He was a big ear. Muhammad was a big ear. He heard this. You know what I'm thinking too, Lloyd? I think the Jewish people were making up wrong story because they know that Muhammad was listening to it, and they were just waiting to see, will he put their fabricated story in the Quran? And behold, here it is in the Quran. Yes, indeed, the Samaritan.
Yeah. You know, Zach Morgan came on, and he's also, you know what, it's interesting that these people always misrepresent what the facts and what the details are. You know, it's really fascinating. He says, no, Paul uses the word Samaritan for rebellious people. This is a single individual that is being discussed, not a rebellious people. And we know exactly who the Samaritans are.
But the fact is, the Samaritan people were rebellious because they mixed blood with the Gentiles, the Jewish, forgot about God's covenant, forgot about to be not mixing things together. I mean, if you read the entire Old Testament, which Muslims, by the way, make fun of, you see that God does not want his people to mix with others. To the point that if you have a field, you want to plant it, you know what? You planted corn or wheat or cotton or something, but you don't mix different vegetables or fruit or stuff in the land. If you're gonna wear clothes, you don't mix cotton with other fabric. It has to be one thing, and so on. That the whole message. These Samaritan was the result of Gentiles mixing with the Jews, and it is the Jewish people who choose to do that. That's why God rejected them. That's why the Jewish people did not like them. Why? Because they disobey. They live in sin. That's when the Apostle Paul is talking about. But Paul did not talk about people who will come after him, say the Americans. Paul did not say, well, the Americans will do this. Wait a minute. There is no Americans, Paul, which means that message of Paul was not written by Paul, but it was written by somebody else who came to exist after the American exists. Now, the problem was Muhammad quoting the Samaritan here and quoting Aaron in another place is a double problem. It's a contradiction in the Quran, and then he's talking about people did not exist in Moses' days. Yes, the Samaritan exist in Paul's days, and they still exist until today. So I don't know how you guys, since somebody else used that word, that means it was okay for Muhammad to use it. No, it's not okay for Muhammad to use it. You're missing the point. Was it Aaron or the Samaritan? It cannot be both. Yeah. And if it was the Samaritan, how can Muhammad talk about the Samaritan in the story of Moses when there was no Samaritan for another 600 years?
Yeah, we've got some very, very upset, you know, these people are simply misrepresenting because they got a 500-year error in using the word Samaritan, in misattributing this. It's not just the fact that they're attributed to the Samaritans, but they're actually also not attributing it to the correct person.
Sure.
So I muted 5 accounts of him. You know what? I'm going to put you in timeout as well for the 6th time. How's that? You know, it's not we can't answer. It's that you are simply a troll. You're simply here to waste time. And besides, you're not going to listen to any answers we give. Anyway, your job is simply to cause interference, not to actually discuss what the facts are. That's your whole point, is simply to argue for the sake of disputation. So, but yeah, but it clearly upsets. I mean, they're aware, Muslims are aware of these inconsistencies, these historical problems. We're looking at a 500-year gap. The Samaritans are founded around 722 BC, and the Exodus is about 1300. So you're looking at 500 years here. So this is a serious problem. And it's talking about the Samaritans, not about a unruly person. So then we have the mowing calf is found in Quran 20. And what has hastened you from the people, O Moses? He said, they were following me closely, and I hastened to you, my Lord, that you may be pleased. And he said, so surely indeed, we seduced your people after you, and the Samiri led them astray. The Samaritan, okay, let's have a look. Samaritan, non-Arabic word of Hebrew Syriac origin. A non-Arabic word. Now that's fascinating that we're seeing this. Let's just go back to, there we are. Okay, so Moses returned to his people, wrathful, sorrowful. He said, "O my people, did not your Lord promise you a good promise? Was the covenant so long to you, or you desired that wrath from your Lord should fall on you, so that you broke your promise to me?" And they said, "We did not break your promise by our choice, but we carry loads of the people's trinkets. So we threw them, so likewise the Samaritan threw."
I know the verse sound like missing something. Threw what to wear? Oh, threw the gold into this mold, which was made look like a cow. And obviously you get that from the scholar's interpretation, not from the verse of the Quran.
Also, Houston Oil is correct here. Samaria as a name did not exist until King Omri bought a field there and named the city after the guy he bought the land from. So why would Allah want to name this? It's like me saying it's like in 2000 BC, someone is saying that the Austrians were responsible, and then saying, yeah, but the Austrians it's actually a term for naughty people. I mean, why wouldn't Allah just simply say, this naughty Jew, this naughty person, or this, this apostate or something? Why name the Sumerians? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing, this explanation which we read today, Brother Lloyd. I never heard it 30, 40, 50 years ago. When I was a kid, they are coming up with all the excuses. They're getting smarter and smarter. Excuse me, if it is normal and known knowledge by Muslim scholars, it should be in the books of Al-Tabari and Al-Qurtubi and Ibn Kathir and Jalalain. No, you don't read any of that there. You just learn about it today because they're fabricating new interpretation. Let's help Allah. Let's help Muhammad. Let's fix the Quran with our own wisdom, our own defense. You can't do that. You can't do that.
I'm just curious, do the Tafsir say this was a Samaritan? Do they say, oh, John used the word Samaritan as a troublemaker, not as an actual Samaritan, and therefore the Quran is using that? Sorry?
Well, Samaritan, 100%. All scholars agree. It was a Samaritan.
Yeah, so
not one of them was this.
Ibn Kathir, Al-Tabari, and Al-Qurtubi identify as-Samiri as the Samaritan. So they often attempt to reconcile the timing by claiming he belonged to a specific Israelite tribe called the Samira. Yeah, for sure, but no one's buying that story.
And you know what? You can
the major scholars say, yeah, it was a Samaritan.
And Lord, the reason they make a tribe is called the Samiri because they do not know the names of the 12 sons of Jacob. I challenge a Muslim to give me a name of one of the other 11 sons of Jacob besides Joseph. Joseph, that's all what they know. Even when they talk about Benjamin, it's just simply because they're copying from the Bible. But Benjamin was not mentioned in the Quran. Neither the other 10 brothers who are the 12 sons of Jacob, who are the 12 tribes. And why we call them 12? Because even if you think about it, biblically, it's 100% true. And Islamically, Quranically, you have zero knowledge. Now, there's 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. They're 2 sons of Joseph. Wait a minute. Now there's 13 tribes. No, there's still 12. Why? Because there is 1 tribe who's set aside, have nothing to do with anything about inheriting land, because he's going to be working and doing the ministry of the temple and the ministry of the priest, which are who? Aaron. And these are the tribe of Levi. See, you get yourself confused when you read the Quran because there's no information there. The information does not exist, and it's a chaos in the Quran. And then everyone, oh yeah, there was a tribe. One of the tribe of Israel is called the Semitic. Yeah, right. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can even make another tribe by the name Usama. Okay, because
It's just crazy that if all these people are like, and Allah knows best, we think it's this, but it's definitely Samaritan, and then they have to make up fake history about the Samaritans, and then some rando comes along and says, oh yeah, actually what was meant was, like, who are you? It's like, your tafsir authors, you outrank them. This is so, yeah. So let's continue. So the Samaritan through, yeah, the Samaritan. Yeah, so this gave forth a calf to them, a body which had a mooing sound. So they said, this is your God and the God of Moses. So he forgot. Who the heck writes this? Do they not see that it does not return to them saying?
And it's amazing when you say, so he forgot. You have no idea who's he.
Who's he and what did he forget?
Forget what?
I forgot.
We don't know who he. He forgot, man. It's over. That's it. He forgot.
If anybody can remember what was forgotten, please let us know. And indeed, Aaron said to them, my people, surely you are only seduced by it, and surely your Lord is the merciful. So follow me and obey my commands. And they said, we will not stop worshiping it until Moses returns to us. He said, oh, Aaron, what hindered you when you saw them go astray? Will you not follow me? Did you disobey my command? Who talks like this except people in like a Shakespeare play? You know, like one of these stage plays is LARPing, sort of like these kids doing a thing. Like, avast thee, you lousy rat of a pirate. And the pirate goes, I am not intimidated by such scoundrels and ruffians as you. I will not have such language spoken to me. Draw your sword, my good man. I shall draw my sword and I shall vanquish you. I shall not be vanquished. I am on the side of the good, and the good shall uphold me and give me bravery and honor. And then the woman goes, you are such a brave man. It's LARPing. This is, oh my gosh, this is.
Hey, Lloyd, did you just made up all that, or you're reading from a book?
I just made it up on the fly, man.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Allahu Akbar.
Did I make a verse like it?
I heard a new Quran. No one can write like it.
It's so dumb. Yeah. H.M. Fogg says I'm a masochist, so I just came to listen to the Quran being read. Oh, this is painful. This is painful. You said, oh, son of my mother, do not seize me by my beard, nor by my head. Surely I feared lest you should say, you divided between the children of Israel, and you did not watch my word.
You know that even these words given by Aaron are different from chapter 7 and chapter 20. If you put them side by side, they're different words, even though it's supposed to be Aaron saying the same thing. You know, if Muhammad put it in 20 other locations, it will be completely 20 other information.
Yeah, anyway. This is like campfire stories, as he says here. It's just like, these are like the stories kids make up, these plays that a kid would write. You know, these are like theater kid stories. It's so, oh my God. He said, so what is the affair with you, O Samaritan? You know, why do they keep calling him a Samaritan if the guy's not a Samaritan? And he said, I saw what they have not seen, so I took a handful of dust from the path of the messenger. So I made it. And likewise, my soul prompted me to do. And he said, so be gone. And so surely, you know what? This is like the way, you know, if you've been to Dubai or whatever, you listen to Indians talk, right? I've been to India as well. When they speak English, they tend to cut off certain words, you know? And this is not written with the full sentence. It's like words are cut off. It's clearly someone who's a second language writer that's writing this. It's like someone
or they're actually also missing verses. There's some stuff missing in the middle. You don't see a continuation. Most of the Quran is written in a way when they collected, they missed pieces there and here, could not remember it or something. It's not like a full conversation. You always realize that there is something is missing.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So be gone. So surely to you in this life that you say no touch. And surely you have a promise that you will not break. And look at your God, whom you continue worshipping. Surely we will burn him. Then we will blast it into the sea, blasting. Surely your God is only Allah. There is no God except him. His knowledge surrounds all things. Yeah, this is very bad. You know what? I'm gonna get the story that sounds very much the same. Let's do this. Let's do this.
I like cartoon, man. Cartoon is more fun than the Quran. Go ahead, make it.
16.
Read it for
Look,
me.
father, Jane plays and plays. You and mother work, and I work. Jane cannot work. Jane is a little baby. Father said, "Oh, Dick, Jane is not a baby." Okay, let's try this one. Look, father said, "No, Spot, no. Look at Dick. Get Dick. Go and get Dick." Mother and Sally. Let's have a look. Come, Spot. Come and go. Jump, jump. Jump up, Spot. Jump up. Let's try this one. Sally saw Jack and Susan go into the house with Dick and Jane. "Oh my," said Sally. "A boy came to play with Dick. A girl came to play with Jane. I want a friend to play with me. I will go and find a friend." Away went Sally. She went to this house and she went to that house. Did I just write a new chapter in the Quran?
Yusuf, can you record that for me? Because that put me to sleep better than the Quran, man. When I read the Quran, I get a headache and I could not go to sleep. Can you record an hour from that show?
Soon Sally came home. "Hello, mother," she said. "See all the boys and girls. See all my friends. My friends came to play with." What the heck? This is what I feel like I'm reading.
Because you're a racist and you're an infidel and you're an Islamophobe. I know why.
I will
figured it out.
blast you into the sea, blasting.
Yes. That's fantastic, mashallah. Yeah.
Ibn Kathir began his interpretation by giving the location of this event. It's about the children of Israel when Moses met with Allah at the mountain. He was calling on his Lord, asking him about many things, and Allah was answering him. I mean, we've got inscriptions. We've got inscriptions to Yahweh going back to like 1300 BC, and we know Allah at that time was the god Al-Makkah, who was also the Babylonian moon god Shin. So we know that Allah was also existing at that time, but Allah was actually the Babylonian god. It's crazy that we've got records of that. So Moses didn't use the term Allah. There's no written record of Allah, at least amongst the Jews.
Yeah. But notice the knowledge of Ibn Kathir. You know where this took place? It was at the mountain.
The mountain?
Yeah, the mountain on the right side of the other mountain. So because there was 3 mountains. Actually, there were more than that. But we know for sure that is the mountain on the right side.
Okay, so the right mountain. So we just got to go to the right mount. Okay, no, fine, I'll do that.
So it's like Ibn Kathir. He didn't give us the name of the mountain. He didn't give us what mountain are you talking about? Were you there? No. How do you know it was a mountain? Maybe it was a valley. Anyway, keep going.
No, but it's logical there'd be a valley next to the mountain. So Allah didn't have to say that because he knew that you would understand that, and therefore Allah is merciful and all wise.
Sure.
Yeah. So we must ask the questions. How did Ibn Kathir know this was the setting here? What was Moses' question? What was the answer? Ibn Kathir did not know, and Allah knows best. Now, perhaps Ibn Kathir read Exodus 19 to 32, 14 chapters in the Torah, which Muslims believe without knowing anything about them. Ibn Kathir summarized these chapters in the following sentence. Moses was asking Allah, and Allah was answering him. What was the questions and what were the answers?
That was a good summary, man. You can remember that for the test, couldn't you?
Wow. Yeah, this is like the cat of the hat. And D-Rod says there are people who have cried just by listening to the Quran. I'm starting to think they cry because they understand Arabic and know it's gibberish.
Yeah.
This hurts me.
I remember my friend, listen, Lloyd, my friend told me that story, man. He said in England, they're using the Holy Quran recitation to help people to calm down in the mental institutions. When you go to the crazy hospitals, they play the Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. When they do that, people who have seizure and they're really mentally, they calm down. You see, you could not do that with the Bible. You see the difference now?
Yeah, so Muhammad had to be made successful by terror because this bullshit book wouldn't help anybody. So these stories, oh my God, this is, yeah. You know, what's the difference between Muslim children and Christian children? Well, Muslim children, they just blow up real fast. So
You're terrible.
if Muslims would read the book of Exodus, they would discover that Ibn Kathir and others were ignorant of the truth. Yep, I don't blame Ibn Kathir or any other Muslim scholar, for neither Muhammad, their prophet, nor Jibril, his angel, knew any of the details and only a few facts about Moses' life. That's why we always encourage the reader to go back to the Bible. Ibn Kathir continued by stating that one of their men was called Aaron the Samaritan. Oh no, does this get worse?
Not Aaron ibn Amran, the son of Amran. Now his name is Aaron the Samaritan. Oh, that's a different Aaron, man. See, that's why when you read in the Quran, Aaron in one place is Samaritan. It's the same guy, but one time you call him by his name, and sometimes you call him by his family name, the Samaritan. So you confuse Paul. It's not Aaron, his brother. But if you read the Quran, he said Aaron. He said my brother. He did not say my friend, my prophet, my messenger.
Well, Moses was also a Samaritan. Erwin is feeling calm now after you sang there, because I think Erwin just listened and he said, I have no idea what's going on. I just give up. I may as well just give up. And that's why he's calm now. He just accepted his fate.
Sorry, brother. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. It is Allah's will. It is written, so let it be done. Yeah.
So Ibn Kathir reconciles both of the above passages of the Quran as he smoothly fixed the problem which Muhammad falls into by adding the name of Aaron to the word Samaritan. This is a deceptive way to fix an error in the Quran, for the truth is there was no such man in Moses' day by the name of Aaron the Samaritan. Now, in this case, the Samaritan, this defines him as a person from a place which doesn't exist until 500 years later. It wasn't even named until 500 years later. The man after whom it was named was not alive until 500 years later.
By the way, Lloyd, you're taking the excess date of Moses of Egypt, 1300, which they call it 1290 something. Actually, I believe it is 1500s. And we can have a good discussion about that in the future, because if you go to the book of Judges and you read the life of these judges who ruled over Israel, one after another, after Moses died, obviously, when Josh and Caleb took the children of Israel to Promised Land, you needed another 360, 370 years. And they could not fit that to come to the time of the first king, King Saul, and the second king, King David, who will run around 1020 BC. So you have to pick up 1500 exit, which means the Samaritans were almost 700 years after Exodus, not 100 years.
Right. So then he had to make Aaron the Samaritan to make it the person who made the golden calf.
Sure. Makes sense.
But then in a different verse, it's the Samaritan who made the golden calf, and it wasn't Aaron. So although wow, this is so confusing. So Ibn Kathir said that Aaron the Samaritan borrowed some of the ornaments, shaped it as a calf, and put it. How big must these ornaments be to make a golden calf? Hello, like this? How tiny was this golden calf?
No, the golden calf was huge. It was a nice sized cow. The Bible talk about it. But the idea that he'll come up with this propaganda, he have nothing in the Quran to go back to. But listen to the interpretation about this.
When you put dust into the calf, it began to move.
So the sound of the cow is the dust inside it when the wind go make it. You could not do it even today if you want to.
And Qatada said, according to Ibn Kathir, that the golden calf changed into a real calf with flesh and blood.
It's a magic. It's a miracle. MashaAllah, Allahu Akbar. Yeah.
And then Ibn Kathir said it was when the wind used to go in from the butt of the calf to his mouth, that this was when he made the mooings.
You
Look,
know,
I'm just gonna censor that part out. Can I censor that out? Is there a way to get rid of that? Help, please, somebody, anybody. Okay, so basically, I'm going to try and use simple English, but when the wind goes into the butt part of the cow and comes out of the mouth part of the cow, this causes a mooing sound.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah, even some scientists in America, in one of the states of America, he did the same thing, and he did the same thing. He put the dust in the wind, and the cow made a mooing sound. Yeah, it would not even sound like any other creature, but just a cow.
This is poetry. I mean, so how do I say the Shana na? This is science. These guys developed wind tunnel testing before it was developed in the West. I mean, these guys are doing wind instruments. This is Islam. This is the beauty and glory of Islam. Doing things centuries. This is science.
Yep. So there was no miracle in it. It's just natural. Natural. Anybody can do it today. So don't think of it as a huge miracle. It's normal. Very normal. Ibn Kathir said the Jews stood and danced and rejoiced.
You know what? I just realized these guys, Islam invented music.
Hey, that's a good joke. I like it.
Oh my gosh, they came up. This was the first wind instrument. Oh my God.
Hey, there's something about the butt in Islam. You know, remember when Jibril, when Satan went inside Adam's mouth and came out of his butt. Now it's backwards. The wind go from the butt and come out of the mouth. It's the same.
Oh, this is gonna kill me, Usama. This is why I can't do these shows with you anymore. This is killing me. I'm gonna die here one day.
It is. You can use this as a psychological way to relax and laugh, and it calm you down, and that's all. That's it. This is a good therapy, man. Free, no charge. We'll do it for free, no charge. Okay.
All right. So the Jews stood around and rejoiced around the golden calf. This is your God and the God of Moses. So he forgot, meaning Moses forgot his Lord with the Jews.
Wait a minute. That's fabrication. You cannot tell me that's what how did he know that's what he meant? Did he go in the mind of Allah to know what Allah meant by he forgot? How do you know that's what Allah meant?
Don't ask questions.
Yeah, I know.
Ibn Kathir proved that they were wrong, for this God was nothing but an animal and a stoned Satan. So this is an expression which means Allah cursed Satan and caused Muslims to throw stones at him.
Yeah, Shaitan regime. A'udhu billahi min Shaitan regime.
And Moses' people took after him from their ornaments a calf, a body which gave a mooing sound. Did they not see that it could not speak to them, nor guide them away? They took it, and they were unjust. So he says that this means that this was an animal that did not talk or answer, and did not have evil or good, who did not guide, and they were unjust themselves for what they had done. For what they were doing was vanity resulting from ignorance and error.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Are you mocking the word of Allah about the moon cow?
H.M. Fox is absolutely top-notch dad jokes as always. Oh my gosh. Okay. So then Ibn Kathir quoted Quran 7:149.
Before we continue, guys, in the next few pages, you have to be serious. We're studying the writings of a great scholar to the great word of Allah. So stop laughing and concentrate, please. Don't let the devil, Satan, cause you to turn away from the word of Allah. Go ahead, bro. Yeah,
He
be
interpreted
serious. Go
this.
ahead.
So he quoted 7:149, and when it fell in their hands, and when they saw they'd gone astray, they said, "If our Lord will not have mercy on us and forgive us, we will surely be of the losers." He
Yeah.
interpreted this by saying that when Moses returned to them and saw what they were doing in worshiping the calf, he threw the boards which were in his hands. On these boards was the Torah. Right, the whole Torah was written on a couple of boards in his hands. Okay,
No,
great.
no, no. It's say alwah. It's plural. It could be in number between 3 and 1,000 or 2,000. It's more than 3. Where do you come up with 2, man? You're lying. You're trying to deceive our Muslim friends. Alwah means plural. It could be any number. But can you imagine have the 5 books of the Torah written on boards? I wonder how many boards there were. Okay, keep going, man.
I don't know. I wasn't there. But we're getting this from an eyewitness. His name is Allah. He was there. And he interpreted this by saying that when Moses returned to them, right, he threw the boards. And when he threw the boards, it was said that he broke them, as it is believed by the people of the book. And Allah had given him another one.
Wow.
Okay. And but the
Okay.
Quran doesn't say that. We read that earlier. The Quran doesn't say that he broke them at all.
But he's trying to adjust the Quran with the Bible.
So that word means it cannot mean 2 boards. Yeah, pretty much. So the people of the book claimed that there were 2 boards, but he stated that the language of the Quran clearly teaches that there were lots of boards. Ibn Kathir did not know what he was writing about, for as he stated, on these boards the Torah was written. 5 books is a lot of material, and you cannot put them on 2 boards. What Ibn Kathir did not know was that what was written on those 2 boards was not the Torah, but the 10 Commandments. And we see this, of course, in Exodus 32:15, the 10 Commandments written on these tablets. 2 tablets. In verse 19, it is written that Moses broke the 2 tablets. So, you know what? Tablets, it was iPads, and you can put a lot of information on an iPad.
Yeah, must be. And then we, yeah.
Had invented the iPad. That's what the tablet. One was like a golden colored tablet, and the other one was like emerald colored tablet.
Man, you're as good as Ibn Kathir right now. Keep going, man.
I am Mr. Exegesis right here, you know. Throughout the history of Islam, whenever any given fact disagrees with what they believe, the scholars or the lay people immediately accuse others of lies and infidelity. That has never happened, Usama. That has never happened to me. They always go to me and say, Lloyd, we thank you for your very well-considered, highly thoughtful, and in fact, totally credible analyses based on the words, based on their history, based on a rational reading, and we want to commend you. That's what I always get. I don't know if you get that, but I get that all the time.
That's a problem.
You know, because that's what Muslims tell me when they hear me talk. I always get like praise, and you know, they always say, well done, this really gave me food and pause for thought. I commend you on that. See, so if you weren't so much of an Islamophobe, they would be the same with you.
I guess.
You know, so in their belief they are right, and everyone else is wrong. Although the Quran gives no details at all about Moses or his life, even though thousands of manuscripts dated before Muhammad was born are in agreement that there were 2 tablets and they were broken when Moses threw them to the ground. That's true. Muslims contest the story. In other words, Ibn Kathir argued with historical documents without knowing their contents. Then Ibn Kathir stated that Moses angrily rebuked the children of Israel for the evil, wicked thing they'd done, so they apologized to him. They explained this by stating in Quran 20, we did not break your promise by our choice. The Samaritan made us do. But we carry loads.
No. I have to correct you here. It was not the Samaritan. It was Allah himself. We know from the solid foundation, the orthodox doctrine and belief in Islam, that nothing you say or do except Allah ordained for you to do. So if it was not the Samaritan, Allah would have made somebody else to make the golden calf, because Allah wants the children of Israel to worship him. That is, Lloyd, you cannot get away from that. Nothing the children of Israel did, except it's exactly what Allah meant for them to do. It was written, it was ordained, it was prescribed, it's their fate that this must take place. So don't blame the children of Israel. If you want to blame somebody Islamically, you have to blame Allah and nobody else but Allah. Am I right?
Actually, quite honestly, I checked out ages ago because the less I think about this, the better my brain health is.
Hey, ask Houston. Houston will tell you, Usama said the truth.
Right. So my voice is starting to go. So let's finish here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mashallah. Go ahead.
Right. Ibn Kathir chose to interpret the same passage from the Quran, chapter 7, verse 151, and he stated that Jewish people were embarrassed by having the jewelry of the family of Pharaoh.
Wow.
Allah had commanded and allowed them to take the jewelry. However, they were not embarrassed about their foolishness in worshipping a golden calf with a mooing sound where the wind came in its butt and out of its mouth, along with Allah, the one, the absolute, the dominator. So why
Yeah.
were the Jewish people embarrassed to wear the Egyptian people's jewelry?
Because they were not pure gold. They were 24 karat gold. They need even purer. It makes no sense. He just made it up, man. Until today, my beloved wife loved to wear Egyptian gold. I mean, whenever I have friends coming from Egypt or somebody going to Egypt, please buy my wife another ring, man, another earrings, another something, because she loved me more with Egyptian gold. So why the Hebrews will not be very happy to have my gold on their ears? Give me a break. Anyway, it's made up. Made up.
You know
Just
what? This guy here, Gamma C5, is trying to say, what about Jesus' crucifixion? What about? Can we confirm with secular sources that it actually was Jesus that got crucified and not someone else that appeared to be him, like the Quran says? How about you first prove the Quran is correct? First, prove that,
but
right?
we know from
Because
outside.
historically,
Yeah,
the Bible is the most attested historical book in existence.
exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm going to say.
Now,
Yeah.
it meets the standard of evidence for any ancient manuscript. In fact, nobody questions the existence of Dul Qarnayn, Alexander the Great. And in fact, his manuscripts date to centuries after his life, if I recall, and there's only 5 of them, and they're not even identical, right? Whereas the Quran has literally thousands of manuscripts, tens of thousands of manuscripts. The Quran is not anywhere near the same level, right, as the Bible, because the Bible meets the standard, and in fact, it exceeds any other historical document of antiquity in terms of its
But
yeah.
but the problem, Brother Lloyd, that Muslims never read anything but the Quran. If you give you other historical an historian writing about the death and resurrection of Christ, they'll not believe it because they never read it. They don't even know that exists. I mean, his question here is telling you what? I am ignorant that there any evidence outside the Bible that Jesus was crucified and he rose again on the third day. I can quote you Jews, I can quote you Roman, Greeks, I can quote you those who love him and those who hate him who wrote that.
Well, but see, the thing is, in terms of evidence, right, he's making an assertion. I mean, he seems to be asking a question. He's really making a statement, right? He's making an assertion. And the thing is that he's making an assertion that needs to be backed up by evidence.
Yeah.
Okay. No, he's not just asking a question. There's an assertion attached to this question, right? There's an assertion. The Quran needs to prove its case before we even consider it and take it remotely seriously. There's a great deal, and we don't have a Mohammedan copy of the Quran. We don't even have an Uthmanic copy of the Quran. The oldest copy of the Quran that we have is like 200 years after Muhammad, something like that. So the Quran has to prove its case. They have to prove where the heck Mecca was. So you need some kind of ancient archaeology. And no one in their right mind would accept a report that comes 1,000 years after hundreds of other reports that are attested.
After that, we do not have one Quran as Muslims claim, but we got a bunch of different Qurans. I don't know how many now, 40 or so, with many different writings, different wordings, and even the Quran which we have, the one we use tonight, as Hafs Quran, as we read, Quran chapter 7, Quran chapter 20, 2 contradictory story about Moses and this magic cow. So I don't know why, how can even Muslim try to defend their Islam about crucifixion when their Quran does not have one story about that magic cow? Hello?
Yeah, true. I just want to show one thing here. I mean, you know, Muslims really, I mean, these guys are going all out at the moment because they're obviously very worried with what's happening. But I mean, this is the Quran, right? This is, there's at least 45 canonical Qurans. Now, the modern standardized Quran was completed. I mean, we're looking at the Saudi Quran, what, 1936, 1937. And the first of the standardized Cairo editions was 1924.
Yep.
Now, it's very interesting that these were only formalized because there's so much, and also there are differences. And in fact, they didn't even take a qira'at, they took a ruwaya. So they took one of the weaker readings from Kufa, which is in Iraq. They didn't even use a version that's from Medina. That's really odd.
Yeah.
So, someone has to wonder about this. I mean, so there's at least 45 known canonical versions of the Quran. And they contradict. Someone says she did it, he did it. A did it to B, no, B did it to A. I mean, like, those are contradictions, and that's the problems in these different Qurans.
But
Right.
that map, you show that map to most educated Muslims in the world, they will have no clue what you're talking about. They always believe, as they taught me in Egypt until a few years ago when I was in even college in Egypt, one Quran, pure Quran, perfect Quran, Arabic Quran, not changed, not even in a dot or a letter. Excuse me, there was not even dot in the original Quran. What do you mean? How do you know if it's ba or ta or se or nun or yeah?
Yeah.
Anyway.
He says he's asking genuinely. He's trying to choose between Christianity and Islam. Do me a favor, Gamma C5. If you're serious, do me a favor, go to the links in the description. Get a copy of The Reliance of the Traveler. You'll find it linked in the description. It's in all my videos. Always link it. Just read through The Reliance of the Traveler. You'll get a copy. A lot of it, I have highlighted many sections. Just go through if you go to your PDF reader, you can go here on the side and just look at these things. I'm just going to go to Ridda, okay? Apostasy from Islam. Whoever voluntarily leaves Islam is killed. I want you to read through this and don't come back and tell me that, but in the Old Testament, it also says you must murder apostates. No Jews done that for 3,000 years. No Christians do that. Only Muslims do. Leaving Islam is the ugliest form of unbelief and the worst. Right? When a person who has reached puberty and is sane voluntarily apostatizes from Islam, he deserves to be killed. And if he refuses to return, he is immediately killed. Read through that. Look up the word prepubescent, right? Look up the word prepubescent in this book and read what it says and tell me what it says about being married to girls who are in the cradle. And then make a decision. Because Jesus, as I recall, didn't have sex with little girls, but Muhammad did. Right?
That's terrible. That's terrible.
And yeah, and that's just a decent start. Right?
I think most Muslims who defend Islam are nice people, deceived, what do you call them? Gullible. They have no clue what they're doing, and because they're lacking knowledge, they have not even read their own books. So it's a good advice what you give him, Lloyd, here. Just read, study, man. And then if you decided to see that that's not a true belief, a godly prophet, I mean, it's so savage, it's so immoral, it's so despicable. We would love to have you in Christianity. We would love to. Get yourself out of that cult. Save your soul, your wives, and your children's soul in the next generation. Why you continue to walk in the darkness like your ancestors who never read? I mean, we live in the perfect time for no man can have an excuse. On your own phone, on your own computer, at your free time, use one finger and search and read and study. Learn.
Yeah. The Reliance of the Traveler, Gamma C5. This is the most popular Islamic law manual in the world. It's unique. This is what you need to get. So yeah, Osama, my voice is giving out here, and I've got to be at work tomorrow.
I appreciate you. Hey, we got a good show here tonight, and look forward to see you tomorrow. Lord's willing, we'll have a great time tomorrow as well.
We shall see everyone tomorrow. We'll be back with a whole bunch of guys: Odon, JC, Kalam, Usama, myself, and we'll be talking about how much of Islam really comes out of Ethiopia, and hopefully from there we can have an interesting conversation about some of the pagan roots.
Whoa. You mean Islam did not come up from the guarded board from the heaven from that Quran, the uncreated world? It came out of Ethiopia?
We're going to discuss that tomorrow, but I'm having difficulty finding that Islam came from Arabia myself. Okay, my voice is giving up here, so I got to go.
All right. Love you, man. Appreciate you.
Take care,
You
everyone.
guys have a good day. See you tomorrow.
God bless, guys. Good night.